Hello friends, today we are going to see a new software called as PROLOG for logic programming. In knowledge representation using predicate logic, we had seen how English sentences can be represented in the internal representation. Now, in this particular programming language, we are going to implement all that and we are going to see. Fine. So what I would like you all to do is you go to the browser, okay, go to Google and just type swy prolog. Okay, now swy prolog is basically an open source environment for Prolog language. So you click. So this is the website. You will also get documentation if you want to read more. You will also get some tutorials if you want to try out and so on. Okay, you go to download and say swy prolog. Go for the stable release, and based on whether your Microsoft machine is 32-bit or 64-bit, you can choose an installation. For instance, I have just installed swy prolog 8.031 by downloading it. Okay, so let us go back to the swy prolog. Now once you install prolog, okay, this is the icon for swy prolog. Okay, so let us now start writing program. The first thing what I will do is I will show you the interface of swy prolog. Okay, double click on the icon. This is what you see is a console. Okay, this is a console for the swy prolog. In this console you can run the programs, you can ask queries, or you can consult. I use a word called as consult. Consult is basically used here to ask queries, right? So this is a console wherein you can type the queries and get the answer. So first I will just give you a brief introduction of the interface of this swy prolog. First thing what I'll do, I'll go to file and I'll say new. Okay, so on desktop I've created one dedicated folder for you, my prolog. Here I will just type a new program name, say sample. You don't have to give any extension. By default it is .pl file, prolog source, so you don't have to give any extension. Just say sample or whatever name you want to use and just say save. So this is the editor that gets opened. Okay, this is the editor where you can write your programs, prolog programs, and you can save the programs. Once you compile the programs, okay, the whether they are correctly compiled or no, that will be shown on the console and not on the editor. Please note, this is editor. After you compile the program, whether the program works or not works will be shown in the console here, and then you can type the queries and get the answer. Okay, now before we start, I would like to give you a brief introduction of what we were doing in your predicate logic. Basically in predicate logic we have seen, okay, there are some operators that we have seen. The first one is called as conjunction. Okay, now conjunction in prolog, swy prolog, conjunction is written using comma. Okay, then disjunction means semicolon. Now negation, for negation there is a dedicated predicate called as not predicate. Okay, so whatever you put in the bracket here, okay, will be negated. Okay, and there is a convention that prolog follows. Uh, every sentence in prolog terminates with a dot. Okay, every sentence in prologue terminates with a dot. Now, one last thing which I want to tell you, A implies B. This is a way how I write in prologue. Now, what this means is, okay, if I know that A is true, implies B is true. Okay, so if I know that some old predicate is true, A is the old predicate, implies the new predicate is true. This is the style of writing in theoretical prologue. Theoretical predicate logic. Now, the same thing in prologue, you will be writing the other way around. So, if I want to say A implies B, okay, in prologue it will be B is true, okay, that is a new predicate is true. Now, please note this notation, colon and dash. This colon and dash means if and only if. So, this means if and only if. So, I will write it for you here. So, this, it means if and only if. Okay, it is written using colon and then dash. So, new predicate B is true if and only if an existing predicate A, that's an old predicate, is known to be true. Okay, so this is a style in prologue. So this is a style in theoretical predicate logic that we have seen in class, whereas in prologue when you are going to write the same thing, it is this. Okay, the difference is A implies B. That means if at all you know, if the knowledge base knows that A is true, implies the new fact that is B is found to be true. The same thing you are writing in prologue, okay, in a opposite way. It simply means B, that's a new predicate, is true if and only if, read this as if and only if, old predicate A is true. So, new predicate B is true if and only if old predicate A is true. Conjunction is comma, disjunction is semicolon, negation there is a predicate called as not with brackets, if and only if is this. So, for this particular session, I am going to introduce to you only this part of the prologue, okay, and let's go ahead and use this and try to get some result out of it. Okay, now to show you how prologue works, I'll be writing a simple program in prologue. So let us take a simple example. Okay, cakes are delicious, pickles are delicious, pickles are spicy, Priya relishes coffee, Priya likes food if it is delicious, and Prakash likes food if it is delicious and spicy, and last sentence is biryani is delicious. So these are the facts which are given to you. These are the known facts. So you have to convert these facts into a predicate form and store it in the prologue. And then you need to answer the following question. Okay, that means you have to ask these queries or consult the prologue engine. First, which food items are delicious? Then second question, what food Priya likes? Third question, are cakes delicious? Fourth question, does Priya likes biryani? So we are going to ask all these questions. Okay, so first we are going to see how we can convert one by one each of this sentence. So let's take the first sentence, cakes are delicious. Okay, so in prologue, cakes are delicious can be written as delicious cakes. Now please note, in prologue, everything has to be written in small cases. The moment any word or anything, it starts with a capital alphabet, prologue considers that as a variable. Okay, so cakes are delicious. Once you type this, I said prologue, every statement ends with a period or dot. So when you type dot here, you see this turns out to be red. It simply means that prologue engine has just identified a new predicate that is delicious, and it has registered it in the knowledge base. Okay, so the first sentence is registered in the knowledge base. Second sentence, pickles are delicious. Okay, the second sentence is pickles are delicious. So I will go ahead and write that delicious. When I press dot, I get this color as red, indicating that the predicate has been registered in the knowledge base as delicious predicate. Then the third predicate that is known to me is cakes are delicious, pickles are delicious. Also, biryani is delicious. I forgot to type it and I've typed it at the end. Biryani is also delicious, so that also I need to register. Okay, so biryani is delicious. Okay, next, so cakes are delicious, pickles are delicious, biryani is delicious. Pickles, okay, pickles are spicy. Pickles are spicy. So this also will write spicy pickles. Okay. Then Priya relishes coffee. How will I write? Priya and coffee are two objects, and relishes is the attribute that connects these two things. So relishes. Who relishes who? Priya, comma, coffee. See, I am not using any capital alphabet anywhere. The moment I use capital alphabet, it will be taken as a variable, which can hold different object name values. Okay. So Priya relishes coffee. Now next, okay, Priya likes food if it is delicious. Priya likes food if it is delicious. So how this can be written? Okay, Priya likes food if it is delicious. If it was a simple predicate logic, you would have written like this: likes Priya food. Okay, see, the question given is Priya likes food if it is delicious. So if it is known that the food is delicious, implies Priya likes it. So if it is a simple predicate logic sentence, okay, on the paper you will have written this. Okay, it simply means that if it is known that food is delicious, implies Priya likes the food. So A implies B. Now in prologue, the same thing can be written. How? It's very simple. Whenever you have a question whether this should be written on the left hand side or this should be written on the left hand side, please note, out of these two, okay, which predicate is a known predicate already there in the knowledge base? Is delicious predicate known? Already there in the knowledge base? Yes. Is like predicate known? No, it is not there in the knowledge base. So whichever predicate out of two is already known predicate, that will appear on the right hand side, and new predicates will always occur on the left hand side of the prologue representation. Okay, this is a simple way of remembering. Okay, so the same thing which I have written in a simple predicate logic style, now I write it in a prologue style. So I will say likes now. Since food can be any food can take a value as cakes, pickles, biryani. So food is basically a variable. That's why I've written it as capital alphabet. So Priya likes X or food if and only if it is known that X is delicious. Okay. Now when I type dot, realize that this X here gets colored. with maroon. Okay, that's an indication that x has been identified as a variable. So then x can take different values. This is fine. So this sentence, which is in predicate logic, can be also written in an equivalent prolog fashion. This is the prolog fashion of writing this sentence. Okay, so always in prolog style, the old predicates, the old predicate should always come to the right hand side, and the new predicate will always come on the left hand side. Is it clear? So I'll delete this. So Priya likes food if it is delicious. So if it is known that food is delicious implies Priya likes it. We write it in a prolog style. Now Prakash likes food if it is delicious and spicy. Okay, so again likes Prakash. Now remember in predicate logic chapter itself, I had also told you standardization of variables, ninth or the last, in that step to convert into CNF. The very last step was telling you that across all the sentences in the paragraph, the variables have to be standardized. Okay, that rule has to be followed here also. Any of the sentences, suppose they are using variable x, no other sentence should use the same variable name. So in place of x, I'll write something else, say y, capital Y. Okay, so Prakash likes food if and only if, okay, if and only if the food is delicious y. Now and the food is spicy. Now and means conjunction. In prolog and is written as comma, spicy delicious, and the food is also spicy y, and the moment I press dot, it registers likes to the knowledge base, it identifies y as a variable, and that's it, right? So we have considered all sentences. Cakes are delicious, pickles are spicy, Priya relishes coffee, Priya likes food if it is delicious, Prakash likes food if it is delicious and spicy, and biryani is delicious is already considered. Okay, so this is a simple prolog program that we have written. Notice that when we have written this, okay, when we have written this last two sentences, remember this delicious and spicy, they have turned out to be dark, bold, black. It simply means that these predicates which are there in the knowledge base have been utilized here in the rules. Okay, so how to save? Just go to file and say save buffer. The program is saved. Now you go to compile and say compile buffer. Now nothing has happened over here, right? This is an editor, but I told you every time that you run something, it should be running it on the console. So I will go to that console now here, right? So I'll again say compile buffer. Now if there is any error while compilation, it is going to show me in the console. So this is my console. Now what it says sample program compiled, this much time it takes, and there are 0 clauses. And now we'll write a question, the first question that is asked, which food items are delicious? Okay, so I will write delicious what. Notice that what is a variable. So now when I press enter, what variable will have the answer values, right? So when I say enter, so what is delicious? Cakes. Now notice that it is not only cakes that are delicious here in this program, pickles and biryanis are also delicious, right? So but it is, what variable has given you only one value. It does not mean that there is only one value, there are more values. So what you can do is you can press semicolon here, and now what equal to pickles, that means the second value that what can take, and then when you say semicolon again, what equal to biryani, and this closes down. Now you'll ask me, sir, what is semicolon in this case? Semicolon is nothing but it's a disjunction operator, I've already told you. But while writing query, whenever you write semicolon here, what you are telling the Prolog engine is that the answer that you have given me, say cakes, I don't accept. Semicolon tells, is there any other alternate answer that you can give? Okay, then the Prolog engine gives the second value. Again, by writing semicolon, you are telling the engine, I don't accept pickles. Is there any other alternative answer that you can give? And finally it gives biryani, and it also prints dot. That means there is nothing else. Okay, so this is how you can run a Prolog program. Fine. Now we'll also ask the other queries, but I just wanted to show you how to use this Prolog interface. Now so far I have done everything from the editor. Now assume that this program which I have written, sample.pl, it is already there on the whichever file on the hard disk, and I want to just consult it, and consult means I want to directly run that program. Okay, there is another alternate way. I have closed down the editor. This is my console. So in the console I can just say file and option called as consult. Consult means I want to run the program. So then consult, it opens up here, and you can go to your folder, say my Prolog, and this sample program that I want to test, I can say open. Now you will notice that when I say when I choose the program and I say open, editor does not open with the program. So when I say consult and when I say file name and select a file name and say open, it opens the file not for reading purpose, but it opens the file for querying purpose. Okay, so I can simply ask a query, what is spicy? Spicy what? Okay, so W is capital here, so it will identify that this is a variable. And remember, whenever you type a query, there has to be a dot at the end, and only then you press enter. So what is spicy? Pickles are spicy. Correct? Now, so when I say file and consult, you can directly open a file for asking the queries. But I don't want to open the file for asking the queries. Assume that I want to open a file for editing purpose or to see the content. So you can just go to file and say edit. Okay, go to that folder where your file is there. Choose the program and say open. Okay, and now editor has been opened with your original programs. You can make changes over here. Okay, so this is the second way how you can open and how you can compile the programs. You can use any of the way. Now we'll go ahead and we'll ask the second query, what food Priya likes. Okay, so again I will compile buffer. Okay, here, and I'll ask what food Priya likes. So likes Priya what? And don't forget to press dot here. Enter. So what food Priya likes? Cakes. Is there any alternative? You press semicolon. Priya also likes pickles. Is there any alternative? Press semicolon. Priya also likes biryani. Now why Priya likes these three values? Because it is clearly told to you that Priya likes food X if the food is delicious, and in this program we have already told the knowledge base that cakes, pickles and biryanis all are delicious. Okay, so this is the query that is answered, second query. Third, are cakes delicious? Let's ask this query. So go to console, don't have to recompile it, go to console. Are cakes, what is that? One sec. Yeah, are cakes delicious? So you ask the query, delicious cakes. Now here I am not writing any variable name, I just want to know whether it is true or false. Press dot and press in. True, that means cakes are delicious, right? And the last query, Does Priya likes biryani? Let's ask this question. Likes Priya, comma, biryani? The answer should be yes or no. There is no variable name here. True, Priya likes biryani, right? So this is how you can write a program in Prolog, and you can ask queries to the Prolog system and so on. Okay, so I conclude my this video, which is a simple introduction to Prolog. Okay, so in my next video we will see more programs. Okay, till then, thank you.